Hey guys, it's Coach Jay, better known as a six-figure vet, back with another podcast. And today we have Mr. SOE himself, Shemaiah Trotter. Let's give it up for my main man, Shemaiah. We're so happy to have you on the podcast today to be blessed with your presence. And I want to kick it off by giving you the floor and just giving a little introduction about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. Y'all definitely tune in to the Six Figure Vets. You got plenty of game for y'all, and I'm glad for the opportunity to come and bless the environment, the platform with some game of my own. So, as y'all heard, I am Mr. SOE. SOE stands for Success Over Everything, and my name is Shemaiah Trotter. I was if we get into this line of questioning, right? I was in the Navy with Jalen, aka the Six Figure Vet. And we hit it off pretty well. I always knew that there was something about her, this hustle type aspect about it. She was gonna get it regardless, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad to have her in my company as well. And I know that you all will benefit and get a lot of fruit from the things that she has to give you. So looking forward to giving y'all some game myself.
Amazing. So you talked about being in the military. What rank did you actually get out at?
I was an E5.
Okay, so you got it as an E5. What made you join the military? And so for y'all that do not know Shemaiah, he was one of the only Black nukes on the ship, right? And he was hood. So you see this dude walking around, repping his set, but he works in the most kind of prestigious department on the ship, the most hardworking department. You have to be top of the line, score the best scores on your ASVAB to get into this department. And he looked like me, like he was the representation for that department. So how did you even end up in the Navy? Did you know somebody, or what was that like? How did that come about?
That's a beautiful question, especially for me in specific. And I think it's going to speak a lot towards, again, the fruit people to get from you and what you're doing for this platform for veterans and people in general. But I got into the Navy. I used to sleep in the car. The typical broken household type thing, beef with my mama type deal. Bought a car illegally, was sleeping in that car. Yeah, it was wild. She told you I was a little hood job, but bought a car illegally. I'm sleeping in the car. And I realized, all right, cool. I want to get to college. I want to do something with my life, but I'm sleeping in the car. I'm beefing with my mama. I ain't got no money. So at school, they had the recruiters come like they typically do, go to high schools and recruit kids, high school kids. And I'm like, all right, well, y'all say y'all gonna pay for college. I'm gonna see what's up with it. At first, I was approached by the Army. I don't know if y'all remember, but I actually graduated high school 2011. So at that time, everybody was talking about a job crisis, job crisis, job crisis, job crisis. They're not gonna have no jobs for y'all coming out. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna pick a job that's in high demand, right? So that when I do get out of college, something like that, I would have set myself up with whatever career path I take to take advantage of some of those more available, jobs, those jobs that have an abundance. So I chose a path that was going to lead me down male nursing. So I was going to be a field medic in the Army originally.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it was the Army recruiter that recruited me at first, and I'm chopping it up with him. School is still in at this time, though, right? But I'm trying to figure something out. I walked past one of the Navy recruiters, and this guy looked like us, and he was just funny as hell. A lot of those recruiters be funny. They kind of get y'all like that sometimes. I don't know if that's the same case with some of y'all watching, but I started talking with him. I related to him a little more, and I found out that the Army recruiter wasn't really giving me the real sauce about stuff. So long story short, with that I ended up going out for the Navy guy, took my ASVAB pre-test. I didn't know much about it, but I scored, I think it was like a 96, something like that.
Crazy.
He asked, hey, so what you get? I was like, I got like a 96. Head start popped up. He got a 90. That got a 96. Who got a 96? Like, dude, I'm like, what? Now, whole time I didn't know. I told him I want to be a field medic. That dude looked at me and said, hey, am I allowed to use profanity here?
Yes.
Okay, this is what he said to me verbatim. He was like, so fuck all that field medic shit we was talking about. We're gonna introduce you to what's called the nuke program. Now, I don't know at this time that recruiters get a bonus for every nuke they put in the Navy. I didn't know this.
Yes, crazy money. Bro, like eating off of you, like, what? Yes.
Full plate for real. So I'm like, so he like, yeah, fuck all that. It's gonna be the best thing for you. Woo. I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, all that. But he weighed when you 18 and living in a car. and you hear $12,000 signing bonus, you think 12 racks is a lot of money? I said, oh,
course.
let's sign right now. I'm ready. I'm ready to
Right.
go right now. You said 12 racks and y'all gonna pay for college? Say no more. So I ended up signing up with him. But to answer your question most succinctly, I ended up joining the military because I wanted to pay for college and I was sleeping out of car. I didn't see another way at first. So I did that. Was trying to go be a field medic. Ended up going to nuclear program because they waved them 12 G's in front of my face. And yeah, that's how I got into it.
And we're not even going to talk about how, how that is a lot of the people that look like us story joining the military. They either didn't come from anything or they was just like down to like they last and really didn't see a way out. And that was kind of like their option. So big kudos to you for, you know what I'm saying, being able to come about that situation. What were some of the difficulties that you feel like you faced when you joined? Like what was joining like? What was that process like and operating that space? I know that offline we've talked briefly about actually, you being in a nuclear program, because I don't think y'all realize how big that program is and how stressful that program is. Like people kill themselves all the time that work in reactor. Like it's a very common thing. So as a Black man, how was it navigating that space, going through schools and just operating as a nuke in the Navy?
And look, all right. So this is the part where I said me telling this kind of speaks towards the program that you're doing now. So the first thing I had to overcome was myself. Coming from where I came from, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I didn't have no confidence in a nuclear engine. What I can't do. I literally told I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So I even screwed myself at a 1200 because I chose the Montgomery GI Bill to get a GI Bill more acclimated to trade schools because I planned on failing. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't. No one from where I'm from East Memphis. I like Tennessee. Ain't nobody heard no nuclear, none of that. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm finna take this little GI Bill. Probably finna fail out this joint and do it like that. So the first thing I had to overcome was me. So I say that.
Run that back.
First thing I had to overcome was me. So that's why I say me saying that correlates to what your mission it was this, because overcome yourself. You don't, and I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. You really do not have to re-enlist in order to reap success. I promise you don't. And that's the beauty in this program that she's doing. And I'm not saying that because we've been colleagues before we're friends. I'm telling y'all, it's beauty in that. I'm a living testament. I had to overcome myself, get doubt out of the way so that I could get everything that I wanted out of life. So the first thing I had to overcome was myself. Literally planned on failing. So I chose a whole job that wasn't even as beneficial or as efficient for me to take because I planned on failing. So the first things was overcoming me. Second, not dropping the ball on such an opportunity, right? Y'all heard her say that the program is very pristine. It is very prestigious, very pristine, very. I'm saying exclusive. It's not rare. It's exclusive, but
very much so.
It is something that will open doors for you all outside the Navy. You go in and qualify, watch, supervise, and you come out the Navy saying that you were a Navy nuclear propulsion engineer, whatever. They are going to throw jobs at you, high paying, immediately engineering level salaries, like out the gate. Out the gate. My first job offer was 78 racks a year plus a $8,200 car. And I was making over 80 out the gate coming out. It's some places if I wanted to do shift work, I could have been making over 100.
That's no degree.
No degree, because the nuclear propulsion program is the equivalent to a degree. All you would have to do is take 2 electives. What MIT does in a semester, we learned in a week, a condensed version in a week, and had to test over it. So what Jalen was saying, people will kill themselves in the program, it's a fact. At first, I didn't understand it, but it's because a lot of these people that get accepted into this program never failed anything a day in their life, ever. Because they got it like that. Like they never failed anything. So they come to this stuff.
Is it because they're privileged?
Oh, for sure. We know this. When nobody look like me.
Is it because of their privilege?
You know, people that look like us, we was like, you finna kill yourself for what? Could these some books? It ain't never that real. You know what I'm saying? But they never failed anything. They couldn't face their parents and being like, I failed out. They couldn't do it. So people with real life jump off the barracks rooms and just kill themselves like that. That would happen frequently. But that's how I don't even want to say strenuous. That's just how it's an arduous journey. I'll say that. It's a very arduous journey. So me being melanated and going through that, not wanting to mess up the opportunity or drop the ball on that, and me coming from where I'm coming from, it was real hard not to break everybody's face, because a lot of people with these privileged people, they tend to not come from very mixed or diverse places. So it's like you're almost always the test dummy.
Of
Not
course,
only
you're the
because,
token child.
you know what I'm saying? So not only is it just because you're rare by skin tone, but it's you're here. So I want to know what it is about you that allows you or qualifies you to be here. So I'm gonna test your nuts and I'm gonna test your mind. Because why are you here? Why are you here? And that's not me playing the black card. That's really how it was for real. So a lot of those slick undertone type comments, again, me coming from where I'm coming from, not wanting to drop the ball, I really want to just bust everybody in their mouth for real, but not doing that as much, because I definitely did punch a couple folks a few times. Don't recommend getting into the military and doing that, but I did.
Please don't.
Please don't. Please don't. Do not be like me in that regard. But it was hard to kind of stay reserved, bite your tongue, forfeit any type of punitive action on anybody. You just got to kind of let that go. So that was difficult for me as well, coming into my own man, coming into maturity and being immediately thrown in a very hostile environment, but not hostile like hood. Hostile is in like constant chastising, constant chastising, like,
and challenge, like constantly being challenged.
Every time you get a test back, ooh, Trotter, what you get? You ain't asked nobody else in this motherfucker what they got. Why are you so worried about my grades? It was better than yours. How about that? Leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of that. So one, myself I had to overcome. Two, the complications of my environment, being one of three people that was in that environment. So the long hours, the studying, the ability to decompress was also, I was not awarded that same ability to decompress in the same abundance, only because, not that they were restricting Black people from doing anything, but everybody else had, there's culture. We gonna keep it playing, right? There is culture specific to a lot of other races, right? Everybody can do anything, but culture specifically. I wasn't comfortable going in there drinking a bunch of Mountain Dews and gaming with them, talking about stuff they was talking to. So when people would get out of class, because I'll tell y'all this, I can't say specifics, but the clearance, in order to just study, you would have to scan into the building, no phones, no nothing. You have to scan into the building. You would have to sign your locker, or you have to sign your hour sheet. We had mandatory hours depending on how good your grades were. So we had mandatory hours. So it was like 15 tac tools. You have to do 2 hours a day, but at least 15 a week. 3 tac 20s, 3 hours a day, 20. You might be on 10 zeros. You don't have any because you got good grades. You have voluntary hours, but at least 10 a week. Or you have 0 tac zeros, balls, because you knock it out the park. But you would have to sign your hour sheet in, sign your locker open, get your confidential books out, study what you're going to study, sign your locker shut, sign out your hours, then scan out the building. It was that type of secure. So after doing your whole work day, which is class, you have mandatory after hours sometime during the day. And then what they had available for us to decompress, it wasn't anything that I was comfortable doing. Nothing that I would register as relaxing or decompressing or any of that.
Yeah.
So
but you got to understand, they not used to having you there.
Of course. That's
so
what I'm saying.
Catering to the majority, right?
To the people, exactly. That's why I call it the complications of my environment. They weren't restricting us from doing anything. We had all the same liberties they did, but it's just that the people there, I couldn't do nothing with them folks. I couldn't do nothing with them. I constantly had to be. It's almost like code switching wasn't even a switch. Like the switch was broke. I was in that because I was around them the whole time.
All time, the 24/7. You are the code.
You know, I couldn't even listen to the new Dolph mixtape when that junk dropped, because where I was gonna listen to it to? In my room, running White House? I wasn't doing that. I wasn't even. I ain't feel comfortable doing it. So couldn't even. Blue Magic, man. Couldn't even bump. Couldn't even.
That was a classic
couldn't
too.
Even bump Dolph World too, the old jump. Anyway, I couldn't even get out of this avatar, so to speak, which was the nuclear propulsion engineer. And be me. Dude from East Memphis, Shemaiah, I couldn't be that. So that was a difficult thing too. When I found my close knit friends, we definitely saved each other. I say we definitely saved each other a lot. So moving on to that, to getting just more into the actual pipeline and getting into the actual Navy, because we get into to the poetry meter. I got something to say, me. Being on my own for the first time, like really being on my own, it was intimidating to me a lot. I can be honest and say that. A lot of times in our community, we don't really prep our kids for being on their own, really, not really.
Yeah, we don't.
We
We
don't.
just be like, I
So,
fed you, I made sure you had clothes,
yeah, that's
and I
it.
didn't go to jail for whooping your ass.
You
So
know what
I
I'm
did my
saying?
job.
I had
Be
to do my
thankful.
taxes for the first time with my chief, because when you got a security clearance, you can't play with the taxes. So my chief was like, "Who ain't filed their taxes?" I was like, I remember he had to text me. It was on. We had a designated hour after class. I was to go straight to my barracks room. He's gonna teach me how to do TurboTax. It's a damn shame. I shouldn't have to do that, but I had to file taxes because the chief had to teach me. I didn't know nothing about buying my first car. My partner had to do that. I had never had a smartphone ever in my life. Now smartphones was out. I ain't that old, but I just wasn't privy to that. I didn't have them. So I didn't even use my phone's navigation. I had to use an actual little like the little tum-tums. I had to use a real navigation to get from South Carolina to upstate New York to drive that.
Oh,
But if I'm being
wow.
honest, when I did that, I was really just telling my partner that got stationed to the same spot the whole time. Drove through a blizzard, cars got crashed, wrecked. It was messy, but I didn't have a lot of confidence, and I was very intimidated by just simply doing day-to-day adult activities. Make sure we pay this bill. Shit, how you even get that junk turned on? I ain't know how to do that. Like all of that was just really intimidating to me. So balancing the nuclear program, figuring out how to be a functional adult, and then still trying to come into my own manhood as well. And then when you in the Navy in these places, a lot of women get thrown at you and all this. So I'm still trying to shift and figure out how to engage women in a healthy, responsible level outside the hood, because I saw what that was and I knew I didn't want to be
Right,
that. That's
right.
completely different when you got money, you got a day job, you got this going on, you got other things you want to do. That's completely different. So really navigating through life, trying to be again a functional adult, and then trying to find myself as a man still in these kind of weirdo environments, it's real difficult.
That's yeah. And you know what? That's more so about coming in, but I never thought of it like that. Like this, a lot of people, it's their first time being out on their own. A lot of people, it's their first time navigating adulthood by themselves on a serious level, right? And I don't think I've ever sat down and just thought about what it's like because I was very independent before joining the Navy. I lived on my own. I had bought my first car. I had bought my first 2 cars before I joined the Navy. So I was working 2 jobs. So I was already operating in adulthood.
Yeah.
But what about the people that aren't? And I think that we tend to overlook those that aren't, because most people that look like us, we're thrown into adult situations very early.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's the big thing about. That's why I'm specifying like this particular environment. I've been in adult situations, but never as an actual. I'm gonna say a functional. I don't even want to say proper, but a functional adult trying to come into my own manhood, not just mimicking the bullshit we saw in the hood. I saw that, and I knew I didn't want to be that. To me, that wasn't adulthood. That was not adulthood at all. So I could see what I could have done, but I knew I didn't want to go that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was rough. It was definitely rough.
So to switch gears here, what prompted you to get out of the Navy? What was your deciding factor on saying, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore? Did you already know that you weren't going to do 20 years, or was it a specific incident that you was just like, nah, fuck this, I'm out?
I knew out the gate I wasn't doing 20. For sure wasn't finna do 20 of them things. Nah.
How did you know that?
Because I knew I never wanted to join the military in the first place. I only did it as a means of a way out. I was stuck in a car. Like I was in a car during the wintertime too. Like it's cold. Like I had to wake up in the middle. I was thinking about driving myself to the hospital because I couldn't feel my foot because it was damn near frostbite. Like I was cold in that jump for real. Like so I was like, I can't keep doing this. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a means of a way out. I never wanted to be in the military. I only wanted to take advantage of the college benefits. So once I completed my contract, I knew, okay, I have everything I need. I got in this for a specific reason, was to get these college benefits. I've now secured them. I can go. Ironically enough, never went to college. But That's what I did it for. So I know I have that option to do so. It's something to fall back on, and things like that. But I knew I wasn't doing 20, but I didn't intend to do as little time as I did. The only reason, so I'll tell you all, the nuclear contract typically is 6 years. They spend a whole 2 years training you. They want to get at least 4 years of operation out of you.
Right.
They train us so well that they have land-based reactors, like on actual land, so that we call that prototype, right? So we would basically practice operating the propulsion plant with that, but with real life simulation, well, real life reactivity, so to speak.
Okay.
Right. So that the plants kept shutting down. So I was only what Jalen told you all is a lot of people don't look like that look like us don't really make it into the nuclear program. Even fewer of us make it into a special program that there's 3 rates in the nuclear world. There's an EM, electrician's mate, a machinist mate, and an electric technician. Right. So there's
EMN, right?
No, ET.
Oh, ET.
ET. So electrician's mate, electrician technician, and then a machinist mate. Now, only machinist mates can be specially selected to be ELTs, engineer laboratory technicians. We work with reactivity. So the radiological controls, the people that's taking surveys for, is there radiation here that where it shouldn't be? Is there contamination here where it shouldn't be? The chemical analysis, as well as the machinery aspect, that too. So I got special selected to be that. So because of that, and the plants kept shutting down, we couldn't do all of our practical factors. You need to be able to take a sample when the reactor's up and running, but it wasn't. So because of that, I didn't stay there just 3 months. I ended up staying there like 9. So
because you had to get that practice in.
You had that wasn't even going to qualify you before you could do that. So I didn't get to the ship until almost my 3-year mark. Now the motto was something called 8 and skate. Right, in the military, you have the option to do something called star re-enlist, where basically it cuts you off wherever you're at in your contract and you add whatever your initial contract was. So since it's a 6-year contract, what people typically do in the nuclear world is after 2 years of training, they get to the fleet, they want to immediately star re-enlist, add 6, and do a total of 8 years. That's why we call it 8 and skate. Get your big bonus, your 100K bonus, 90, 60, 80, whatever, it depends on what rate you are. ELTs, for me, it was 100. So I was like, I was going to get that bonus and get on. Now, what I just answered for you, how I knew I wasn't doing 20, if I would have got there, if I got to the ship at my 3-year mark, which I did, and I would have star re-enlisted right then and there, I would have done a little over 9 years. I never wanted to get in the mindset of, well, I'm at 9 and some change, I might as well do 10. If I do 10, I'm halfway
that's what
there.
happens. That's what happens.
Exactly. So I never wanted to do like that, to be like that. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to star re-enlist. I'm going to thug these 6 years out, and I'm going to get on. But what solidified that for me, because I would have done a little more maybe, but what solidified that for me was basically how fucked up people had me. Yeah, I wasn't gonna be nobody talking Negro. Wasn't on it. You want to talk? I'm a nerd too. Like I'm a real nerd. So like the little regulations and stuff like that. I heard Dave Chappelle say his mom said one time, son, sometimes you gotta be a lion to be the sheep that you really want, or the lamb that you really want to be. Sometimes you got to be a lion. You got to get something, get somebody up off you so that you can live peacefully like you actually want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like basically I was like, I'm gonna learn it, not because I give a fuck about being Joe Navy. I'm gonna learn the breaks off the regulations. So if you come fuck with me for something that you just don't like, I'm gonna tell you about yourself. I was that petty. I had the certain regulations, the certain stuff in my breast pocket highlighted. So just so you don't miss the pop, flap the paper over. Yeah, read that, pimp. Get up on my face. I'll holler at you, chief. I was that for real. Your boots got to be shine. Blacking. I work in reactor. Cut it out. Here go the regulation. I was that. So incidents like that was happening. I wasn't gonna be nobody token Negro, and basically, you just went and talk to me crazy. It was too much BS that would happen that was against regulation that people were just basically trying to impose on force their will on me because of some picture that they got on their collar device. Not saying that your rank shouldn't be respected and all that, but I'm saying it doesn't afford you the opportunity to impose your will on me. It don't do that. And too many people, you are subject to that condition too often in the ship, in the fleet. So as far as any one particular incident, no, but the many incidents with other individuals, like I went to mass for this. Like, I'm sure you could tell 1,000 stories yourself about the dumbest stuff people get in trouble for, stuff that ain't been proven.
Man, you can go to mass for drinking and saying, I'm not going to drive, but if your homie decides to drive and you know about it,
facts.
You're going
down. I've seen so many people go to mass.
I didn't even do anything.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Even if you actually didn't do whatever they're accusing you of, you still gonna get it just because somebody said so. It's basically who tell first. So like
Who
it's
tell
stupid stuff
first?
like that.
Don't
So
be
it's
the
like
sailor with the secret.
that the fact that that's a saying should tell you something. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
like I
you better
couldn't.
snitch.
You got to. You basically got to. But then they also call you a blue falcon, a buddy fucker. Don't be a buddy fucker. So it's a whole big contradicting narrative. It's a bad of us. So I was like, I'm not going to be subject to these living conditions for the next 3, 4, 5. Nah, I ain't doing it. So again, no particular incident that deterred me from re-enlisting. Just a culmination of them that made me be like, yeah, this for sure ain't for me. I had it right the first time. I'm 6 and out. I'm through. So yeah,
Makes sense.
maybe get out.
So when you finally made the decision and get out, tell us a little bit about how you became Mr. SOE. What do you have going on now? How you end up becoming successful after you transition out of the military?
Okay. So at first, I was scared, right? I'm be real with y'all. And the reason I was scared is not because
Scared or scared as fuck?
I was scared of fuck. Let me tell you why I was scared of fuck though. Let me tell you why I was scared of fuck. Not because I was simply getting out. I was excited to get out, but I had been led misinformation. And again, this is why I encourage everybody to take advantage of her program, because she's someone that lived it and she's not going to give you misinformation. I received a lot of misinformation, one of which being an ELT or RAD fund guy can get out of military and immediately join. You probably won't be familiar with them, but Code 105. Remember we were in shipyard and there would be a lot of civilians with a certain helmets on that would have their code on them. Code 105 would be the people that would work in reactor that would take service the civilian side of it. So they was like, that's literally your job just on the civilian side, the chemistry, the samples, all of that. So it's the easy transition. Most Code 105 guys were prior ELTs. So they making retard 160 racks out the gate. Like I'm like, come on,
and this is back in like 2017. That's like 5 years ago. So I know their salary has gone up.
They make big bread. So I'm thinking, all confidence to go and do that. So I'm looking into how to do it. Everybody telling me, yep, that's how you do it. And I was gonna remember, I think you ended up getting stationed somewhere East Coast. And I was telling them, I was like, I'm probably be in Virginia out there, Code 105. My brother and them out there, I'm gonna go thug it out over this, where the work is gonna be. It's either stay in Washington or go in Virginia. Tired of Washington, I'm slide to Virginia. And work for Code 105 there. And come to find out, was the weirdest thing ever. And even then, I don't know if this is officially true, but what I was told was there's a 6-month waiting period. So in order to get a federal job, apparently, if you leave a federal job, you get another federal job, you got to wait 3 to 6 months. I never heard nothing like that for my life. And I think it's very stupid. But a lot of people
now that rule is, just to clarify this up for my listeners, if you get out the Navy, if you retire, if you do your 20 years and you retire out, you do have to wait 6 months. But if you voluntarily separate, you don't have to wait those 6 months.
And this is my exact point. Y'all know who I didn't have to tell me at the time? Jalen. You see what I'm saying? So I could have actually went a whole different path, but I was given so much misinformation. People didn't actually understand the information they got and thought that their unique situation applied to all, and didn't consider that their situation is unique.
They were laying wrong shit.
I didn't know there was a distinction between how you got out and the time period you got to wait. So the reason I got scared, because I was like, because I'm thinking I'm an ELT, it's sold up. So I get out and they tell me, nah, 3 to 6 months. I'm like, I ain't got nowhere to stay for 3 to 6 months with no more money coming in. Granted, if you knew me in the military, I got out the military with 100 racks saved. I didn't spend no money. I don't drink. I don't feel the need to go buy a bunch of outfits every weekend just to go out to the same clubs.
That's what I want to get into. So I know Mr. SOE, aka Shemaiah. I know him personally, right? And I also know his friend group. So that was a major question that I wanted to ask you. It was a clique of them, okay? They was ganged up. But I remember some of the people that you hung with being a little bit irresponsible. However, we've had conversations since you've been out, and you told me how, you buy things in cash, or you had this X amount of money saved before you got out. How were you able to be so financially responsible or disciplined while you were in the military with the group of friends that you had or in the surroundings that you were with? Is that something that, you know, you grew up seeing, financial literacy or, you know, financial responsibility, or where did that come from? And how would you advise somebody that is currently in the military to start saving their money?
Okay, I'll tell you this, right? This particular thing with me, I would say it was just innate. I think it was just in my spirit naturally to be that, because what I found was, because I got this question a lot, even while I was in. A lot of that friend group that you was talking about would be like, I asked them, like, bro, why? We going to the same clubs, finna have the same amount of fun. If not, I'm gonna probably have more because all y'all want to look tough as hell in the background and post still try to be conspicuous. I ain't come out here and drive an hour to do that. Nah, I'm finna go have fun. So I don't need a $200 pair of jeans to do it, $400 worth of jewelry. I don't have to go to the next and buy a $50, $30 bottle just to turn up a pregame. I don't have to do none of that. They had the same fun. We had the same result, but y'all spending 600 plus a weekend because you don't want to be seeing the same outfit or article of clothing twice. This doesn't make any sense to me. So they were so we had the conversation and they told me, well, shit, I grew up without nothing, so now that I got some, I'ma have. My disposition is I grew up with nothing, so I'm not finna never have nothing again.
Yeah.
In order to have things, it costs money. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have the money. For right now, I don't need to spend it. To do what? Go out. I got some jeans and a shirt in the closet, bro. I don't need to spend no money on that. I need to spend money on a car, on a house, on investments, on properties. That's what I need to spend money on. Not a bottle, not some jeans, not
Where did
nothing
you
that
learn
can.
that from though? Like, was that
It
just,
was just innate. Nobody taught me that. I don't know why I
wow,
was
that's
that.
dope.
I have no idea why I was that. I don't know anybody else that's like that. I don't know. It just
That's
never made
crazy.
sense for me to
My
do
first
that.
enlistment, bitch, we balling. What you talking about? Like, we finna turn up.
Anybody
Okay,
else
I'm
fuck
about
a we
to,
ball.
we ball. I used to have nothing. Okay, like I'm coming with a whole lot of everything.
Come on.
Okay, so, and it took me being broke after my first enlistment. I was dead broke. I ain't have no money at all. Wanted to get out the military, was tired of being in the military, but couldn't afford it. And that wake up call is kind of like, well, I was like, all right, Jay, you know, you really need to make some shake. You really need to be a little more responsible. But I think that's very, very, very dope that you had that mind mentality, because I know a lot of people, probably about 80% of my listeners could come on here and just be like, yo, I wish I would have did that my first enlistment. A lot of people probably wouldn't have to re-enlist if they were more responsible with their bread that first enlistment. So
that's a big thing. So to answer like more your question, right? What the advice that I would give somebody. Now, this one part is something this can't really be taught. It can be validated, it can be qualified, but it can't really be taught. The reason a lot of people fuck off their bread is this weirdo status bullshit. Like, oh, you don't have on fresh clothes. I don't give a fuck about what I do not care. I'm dressed. Do I match? Cool. Is the shirt, are the clothes clean? Great. I don't care. We're finna go do the same thing. Did you go? This what I had to. This what I realized. And it's the reason I'm saying this. Did I go to put on a fashion show and to be seen, or did I go to enjoy the activity that we drove an hour for? I came to enjoy the activity. Whole time, everybody else came because other people are going to be there and they want to be seen. I don't give a fuck about being seen. I do not care at all.
yeah, I think
So
you're
that
still like
can't really
that.
be, you know what I'm saying? So I can't, that can't really be taught. You just kind of got to either not care or you do. You can one day come to a realization that this shit doesn't matter. But if we being real, if I would have said this out loud as I did to those people back then, they would know on paper that it doesn't matter, but they didn't feel it, didn't resonate with them. They still
Right.
gotta look fresh. They still gotta pull such and such. They still gotta go buy XYZ a whole bunch of round of drinks and look like they doing. My look, I ain't finna do all that. So, but what I would advise people to do is gonna sound very simple and almost cliche, but bridge your budget. This is not have your everything that you gotta spend money on. I always said round up. For instance, let's say it's an item. Let's say your cell phone bill is $94. Call it 100. Let's say you spend about $40 in bill in gas every month. Call it 50. I know it's gonna be more than that, but let's call it 50. Say you don't live on base. and you got rent. Say your rent $1,250, call it $1,300. Add your bills up like that. Set that bread to the side, and then allow yourself every paycheck, whether you go off and do something fun or not, every paycheck, allot yourself $100 for fun. Just allot yourself $100 for fun. If that's how you're gonna live life. So that way you'll come to find out that you actually have way more money. When you're cognizant of it, you have way more money than you actually thought. You won't be so inclined to live so far beyond your means because you're even still allotting yourself money to fuck off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if them truths that y'all insist on buying every damn weekend, sacrifice a couple weekends and just buy them every month. I still personally think that's fucking stupid, but people gonna do it. So save $100 every paycheck. So you get paid 2
Trues
weeks.
almost $200. If you buy a pair of Trues once a month, that's $2,400 a year.
That's my point. So why don't you just set $100 every 2 weeks to the side? In a month, you got an extra $200. It's gonna be okay, bro. Wear them jeans again. I promise. It's gonna be fine. No, nobody's gonna make fun of you. I promise. It's okay. So say them 200s, go buy you a new pair if that's what you want to do. Cool. But since you overestimated every expense, you'll find how much more money you have to save. So what I started telling my friend group was round up like that. Even allot yourself $50 or $100 for fun. Whatever money you have saved over, put that in savings. And you'll come to find that, because I was telling people, bro, just put away $300 a month. I ain't got money like that. These folks is coming to find out they was able to put $500 a month off, where you don't have no expenses. When by the time you have actual expenses, you're probably getting BAH. By the time BAH come, you ain't got no reason not to. I don't care what nobody say. If you're getting BAH, you're an E4 minimum, you get BAH, you have absolutely no reason not to be able to save $1,000 a month, unless you got a bunch of crazy ass expenses, and we'll talk about that towards the show. But crazy expenses like a bunch of debt, a bunch of credit card debt, you got child support going, something like that.
You got an expensive car that you can't afford.
That other goofy stuff, that the status stuff, yeah, all of that, cool. But if you got you a little regular car, whatever, you paying your insurance on it, you doing all of that, cool. You E4 and up, getting BAH, I give you 500. Ain't no way you can't put at least 500.
Yeah,
you know,
1,000 is kind of like.
I didn't have no crazy car and all that other stuff, so I lived it. So that's why I'm like, I put at least $1,000 a month every month. I really every paycheck keep it stacked. I found me some roommates, one paying about $400-500, one time $600 a month for rent. I ate, before I was more health conscious, I ate like maybe $200 worth of groceries a month, including going out to fast food, all that. I didn't care, didn't need all that. So my monthly expenses came out to less than $1,000. I was getting $1,900 some base pay plus C pay. Did my BAH.
Oh yeah, I remember all those wonderful pays.
I know, right? Yeah. So I'm saving. I'm putting away $1,500 every month, like cool and easily. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I didn't have a lot of those, incur a lot of those other expenses. But what I would advise people to do succinctly, so take this advice, round up and allot yourself money for fun. Every activity you do, I cannot imagine that when you get paid, you're gonna do an activity every weekend that costs more than $50 or $100. If so, what you doing? Are you there to just fuck up all you can have fun, you can have big fun once a month, or you can do something cool, enjoyable that don't cost all that much every weekend. You can still have fun and enjoy your life and have money to save.
Yep.
But you don't gotta break the bank and to flex for other people. But like I said, that one can't be taught. You just gotta get it.
Right. So how did you end up becoming Mr. SOE? Break that story down. How did you go from Shemaiah Trotter, E5, to Mr. SOE himself? You know what I'm saying? Big man with the big bank, with the big plans, giving back to his community, doing all this amazing stuff. How did that come about?
That came about by Jaden C. Powell. That's how it came about. Right and exact.
Hi guys.
So this me, right? This let me tell you about me. That Code 105 job I thought I was gonna get.
Okay, back to Code 105.
Yeah, when I thought I was gonna have to wait 6 months, I said, well shit, I can't do that. So I found this one of my roommates at the time, his phone used to be jumping all the time. He was getting out to him, I'm like, what's your phone jumping off the hook like that for? He like, man, I keep getting emails about these jobs. I'm like, oh, they throwing them to you like that? Check it out, G. Hey, put me on. You know what I'm saying? So he put me on. I make a profile. I make my preference. I want to make at least 70K to 150K. I'm willing to travel. I want to live anywhere because I'm never living in a car ever again. So I don't even
Right.
care about location. Take me to Alaska. I don't care. I'm not going to live in a vehicle ever again. My feet fucking froze off. I'm not going. Let's go. New Mexico. You want cool, bro? I'm in there. Just pay me. You know what I'm saying? So I get a job and they advertise, like I said, 78 plus 8,200, whatever year, XYZ. They actually ended up skipping me on the lower end. Now, when I had my interview, the guy was telling me what they advertised from the website, the actual company wasn't actually offering. So I did my interview with there. It went well. He kept it, but he said, frankly, we'd love to have you. So we can get something right. I get a call right before Thanksgiving. I get a call and they say, hey, congratulations, Armstrong Fluid Tech wants to offer you 70. I was like, nigga, that's not what we discussed. We discussed no 70. So with the car allowance or whatever, I'm making about 80, making a little over 80. I ain't like that. I want over 6 figures. That's what I wanted. So Jalen is posting the 6-figure vet is posting about trading opportunities and how she's doing this and how you can make money. I know her personally, and I know she ain't finna give me no bullshit. She not no bull. If y'all know her, she ain't no bullshit type person. That shit don't work. She ain't even talk to you back. It's just not for that. You know what I'm saying? So if she don't, as y'all can see, she's 6 figures. That mean what? She don't play about her money. So I don't think that she finna be engaged in something. You know what I'm saying? She not finna be engaged in something that ain't gonna yield no profit, doesn't have any merit, or you can't get any fruit from. So I'm
Right.
like, I'm gonna go and see what's to it then, because I wanted something to put me just over that 6-figure threshold, or at least deeper into my tax bracket, to where if I'm making a little over 70, I want to feel like I'm making a little over 70. But you know,
Right.
when you get to that next threshold, you get taxed. It feel like you on the other threshold type deal. So I want to feel like
Listen.
I'm in the bracket that I'm in at least. So I just wanted something to take me a little over. So I get into trading, right? I'm figuring some stuff out. It's kind of cool. I'm not going to mention the company, but the company specifically that we were trading under did not have what I considered the appropriate tools to effectively teach anybody anything,
Yeah.
honestly.
Agreed.
So I kind of stopped that after a while. Right before the pandemic hit, I'm in there less than a year. And I won't explain everything with the company, but basically they had to let go. They had to downsize 60% of every single channel. That's sales, that's customer reps, that's the field technicians that I was field technician. And the field technician group was fairly new. So long story short with that, it's only 6 people in that, because that's how new it was. Only 6. Me, and it's only 6 because they pulled 2 from another engineering department. So they're not getting rid of their 20, 30-year vets. They're gonna get rid of the people that's only been there a year. So
Of
me and the
course.
other people behind us got let go. Then the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
hit hard. So I'm like, well, shit, bro, I gotta make some shape. With my resume, I could go get another job, but I never felt okay with the fact that somebody could summon me at a random 1 p.m. to tell me, hey, bro, we ain't finna pay you no more. I
Yeah.
hated it. Made me sick to my stomach. I could have got another job like that. But I'm like, what would change? I would still be
Somebody else still
subject
have that
and
power.
still can decide I'm not gonna allow you to put food in your mouth no more, at least not off me. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, shit, might as well do it off me. So this is what I did. I took my severance pay. It was August. It was August 13th. I remember. I never forget. It was August 13th, 2019. Got let go. And I said, I'm gonna take my severance pay. I'm gonna jump back in this trading thing in my demo account only. And if I can cover my monthly expenses for the rest of 2019, I won't go back to work. I won't. I remember right before 2019 ended,
What
I'm on
happened
the
in
phone
December?
saying, my look. I was so negative on the trade and I was sick about it. But I was telling her, it's like, it took Jalen to kind of snap me out my like little psychosis. I'm like, man, I was averaging 10K a month, XYZ. If y'all remember what happened in December that year, US 30, Nas, all that oil going down. It was
Everything
bad.
just went to
It was
hell.
bad.
What the
It
hell?
was transferred into January. It was nasty. I was like, Jalen, I don't think I can do this on no more, man. Like, she was like, bro, you up in your demo. I'm like, you're up like 30, 40K. Like, you're bugging. It's okay. And I'm
Like
like,
shit. Bugging like shit.
I'm gonna see what's to this. Cool. So I'm still playing with my potential. This brings me back to my very first comment. What I had to overcome was myself. And I knew we were going to get to this point in the podcast where I'm telling y'all, don't sleep on the fruit that this woman is able to give y'all. So it took Jalen to be on her hustle to have me get my hustle, because I was really playing with myself for real. I was really playing. Jalen, how much can I say? Am I free to speak?
You are free to speak.
Okay. Jalen was pregnant at the time, and she was like, look, I'm back in the trade myself. I know you really the GOAT with this, but I'm getting so sick all the time. I can't even analyze charts. Like, she at that point in time, it was that part in pregnancy where it's not so smooth sailing. So she was like, can I just pay
Ghetto
you
as fuck. Let's
Mine.
call it what it is.
So she was living in the ghetto at that time, you know what I'm saying? She was like, I'm not gonna be on it. So can I pay you for some signals? It took someone I considered to be close to ask me for help for me to be like, all right, cool. I charged her like 90 a month. And that same night, I called the trade. It was like 11 p.m. my time. I immediately like, did you make money? Did you get in? Hopefully you got it. Blah, blah. Man, that girl made her money back that night. You know what I'm saying? It was like 114. It was like a Nas 100 trade, $114 trade, something like that. She just paid 90 like that a couple hours prior to type deals.
Yeah, I made
like,
114 off of that trade.
And I was so afraid of not just failing, but now I was afraid of failing other people. Like, I felt like even though she was taking all the liability, you know, it was her account, it was her money. She's a grown woman. She made the conscious decision to trade off of that. I still felt like I was responsible for people's accounts. And it's like, because you're taking my trade. You don't have to, but you decided to, but I called it. So I'm like, huh. So Jalen was my very first customer. From there, I had a couple more, and I was like, you know what? Stop playing with it. I'm just gonna make it a business. I told myself if I could make my monthly expenses the rest of 2019, I won't go back to work. It's 2022. I haven't been to work since. So,
and mind y'all, so he had a goal. I hate to put you out there, but I don't have to put you out there. He had a goal of, I think it was like he had a conversation with his accountant, and they was like, well, how much you plan on making off this? He like, I'm gonna do like 4 or 5 people, like like $400-500. Dude.
Thanks.
How many people have you had in your channel since you started? Crazy numbers. Numbers.
At one point in time, it was up to like 80.
80 people. He had 80 people.
Yeah, some people taking $165 packages, $135. Some people qualify for the 90 or the 99. So yeah, I was making like a cool, just off signals before any courses. I was making like a cool 7-8 racks a month off of just signals.
He talking about $400 or $500. So that's why, like, dream is the number one step. Dreams to reality. That's what it is. Dreams to goals, goals to plans, plans to execution. You have to grant yourself the permission to dream. That's the first thing that you have to do, is grant yourself that permission. Give yourself that grace. Give yourself that authority to do some big wild shit. Like, you know what, today, fuck it, I'm gonna pick up a car and I'm gonna walk that hoe down the street on my back. If that's what you want to do, believe you can do that shit. For real, it all starts in the mind. Because he really slept on himself in the beginning, like dead ass. And he probably could have started throwing out trades before he quit his job. He probably could have been doing it. He probably could have been doing major shit before he quit his job. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we are our biggest haters.
Facts. When she says
that
was beautiful. I've never heard it put that was beautiful. Grant yourself permission, because I definitely did not feel as if I had the right to do certain things. But for what? Who gave me that? That spirit of doubt I grew up with, that whole you're just this, not being taught that you was great. I did not know how much I took that to heart, but clearly I did. I did not feel as if I had the right. It's gonna sound weird, but I didn't feel like I had the right to be great on my own. I know I could be great under their system. I didn't feel as if I had the right to be great on my own. And that's very weird, especially hearing me say, I've never said it out loud. And I didn't know that till we just got through talking just now. But
so how do you navigate that space now? Do you still have those times like, bro, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, what are you doing?
Gangster. I don't know what you talking about. Big gangster. I don't know what y'all talking about. I do this shit for real in real life. They don't even stop at trades. I'm him. I'm him Hotep for real. I'm him
Hotep.
Really. Yo, not him Hotep. I'm him Hotep.
So what is it that you got? What are you working on right now, Shemaiah? What do you got going on right now that you could tell the people about?
My newest project is all about commerce. Commerce. What I mean by that is, I won't get too deep on the podcast, but the underlying goal is, or the ultimate, not underline, the ultimate goal is to get people from out under debt.
Okay.
I've discharged an auto loan for one of my siblings. I've discharged a mortgage for a family friend. You don't have to work like a slave your entire life to pay for things that are fictitious, right? What I mean by that is this spirit aspect that I'm talking about is really one and the same. It's not, I tell Jalen all the time, physics and metaphysics run concurrent. We got to stop separating the two because they are, in fact, the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not meant, we were not born to work for some paper and then die, or some digital credits on the screen and then die and hopefully get a couple nice things on the way. It's a whole world out there. I, for one, do not plan on just being limited to North America. I don't. So I want my kids to see the world. We built this world. You think I'm finna not go see it? I'm finna go pull up on all that.
Right.
So there's a saying in this, right, of natural law, says nature abhors a vacuum. There is no such thing as something for nothing. So you're giving all of your life resources to accrue this one thing because you think you need it in order to just live. You need shelter, you need food. So you're spending all your time and resources to get things that are already your birthright.
Right.
So with that being said, my ultimate goal is to get people from out under debt so that they can actually go and enjoy their lives. I'm not saying you don't
Amazing.
have to work or get a job or work for yourself. You can do all of that. But what you don't got to do is continuously pay a debt that is already paid. Again, I won't go too deep on this, but the ultimate goal is to discharge debt for people, utilize your credit and credit themes and lines of credit correctly. I don't do nothing illegal. I hope it don't sound wild. I don't do nothing illegal. I
So
do
he's a
this all.
scammer. No, just kidding. Just playing.
If it was illegal, I wouldn't be sitting there operating today. I've been
Yeah,
doing this for the
he's
last
like
8 months.
real official with it, guys. I would not vouch for anybody that I would not put 100% trust in. And Shemaiah is definitely one of those people that I put 1000% trust in. If there's something he tells me, it's not very likely that I second guess it, even just because how he is with facts and fact checking shit. But he's legit and he does his homework. He does his research and he covers his ass in every single thing that
Must.
comes to his mind. He does his homework and he definitely covers his ass, and he covers the ass of the people that he plans on working with. So yeah, so what is this about? So what's the program, or how do they get involved, or tell them like what's going on? How do they go about hitting you up for some more information about discharging their debt?
Okay. So with the debt discharge program, it's not, I want to specify too, it's not so much just limited to debt discharge. It's, you can get rid of credit card debts, keep using your credit card, don't got to pay it off. You don't have to pay taxes. I'm not saying nobody ever has to pay taxes ever. I'm saying you can set yourself up so that you don't. Asset protection to where somebody can't sue you because you own all your stuff, or more rather another entity owns all of your stuff. All of these type of things, that actually some of them can actually run concurrent with some of the things I know that you teach as well, as far as insurance and borrowing from your insurance policy, things of that nature. Real financial literacy, not the basic surface stuff. But how I get to it right now, I'm doing private classes because, as I mentioned before, I've discharged a few things for some other people, some for myself as well. But now I'm going to actually have people like a DIY, like a do-it-yourself type program. I'm gonna be with you every step of the way, but I'm not gonna fill out all the paperwork for you, anything like that. So I say that to say, at first it's gonna be a private class. So if you would like to, I believe Jalen's gonna put a link in the description, or maybe her platform, tag me or something like that, to where you can actually hit up my Instagram business page or my Facebook likes page. Just the first round of classes, I'm gonna make it private, and then based off of you all's testimonials and the success that you get from it, then I'm going to open it up to the public, and there will be a link on my website. So for now, the actual debt discharging program, tax elimination program, that will be by request from a specific message for now, but then it'll be open up to the public soon. I wouldn't think, honestly, by December. So by the time tax season come around, y'all will be all
Amazing.
right.
Amazing. I don't think y'all realize what he said. So he's teaching you how to discharge your debt off of major shit like your credit cards and your car loans And he's teaching you how to properly do things where you don't end up having to pay taxes. Is that stated correctly?
That's right.
Y'all,
Exactly.
that's OD. And because you are listening to Mr. SOE himself on the Six Figure Vet podcast, if you use my discount code 6FIGVET, that's SIXFIGVET, 6FIGVET, you will be given a special discount. You will be given a special discount for using that code. And Shemaiah, I just want to say thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate you. I look forward to chopping it up with you and breaking bread with you again. Is there anything else you would like to put out to the listeners before we close out?
Just, I have to repeat myself again, y'all. She is doing a service that is, I don't think can ever be truly appreciated to the point where it's deserved until you actually reap the benefits. Again, yeah, I did things less efficiently because I did not have a Jalen Powell to guide me from nothing. I had to go do it on my own, but now you have help. So really take advantage. I love what you said at first. Dare yourself to be great because you are. I didn't have to go beseech any greatness. It was already in me, but you have to step first. Don't sleep on yourself. You can do it. She did it. I did it. We ain't no different from you. You can do it as well. So I definitely highly encourage y'all. Take advantage. You don't have to be bound. Just like I'm telling y'all don't have to be bound to anybody's debt, anybody else's obligations, anybody else's compelling you to do anything. Just like you don't have to be bound to the fear that you have of leaving the security blanket of the military. You don't have to do that. You can set yourself before you get out, or you can find success soon as you get out. You can do that. Don't let what you see in your environment decide that for you. Just because Pookie Ray Ray them might have got out and slowed out, you ain't got to be Pookie Ray Ray.
You ain't got to be Pookie and Ray Ray. You could be Daquan and Tanisha if you want to.
Come on
don't
now.
be Pookie and Ray Ray. Don't be Pookie and Ray Ray. Ain't nothing wrong with Pookie and Ray Ray, but don't be them.
You ain't got to.
Okay. And guys, as Shemaiah said, this platform is meant to kind of just give the story of veterans and what they're doing. I do have a major announcement to make. The Vet to Success program, digital course and group coaching program is launching this Veterans Day, November the 11th. It's launching. So much information. We're going to go over disability mindset, planning and execution, preparation, jobs, business plans, education. We're going over everything under the sun. We're going over every free resume reviews. I mean, it's so much stuff in this program, guys. I can't even it's too much to name. And because you're rocking with the kid, I'm going to also give you a discount code VET50 where you will receive 50% off. Yes, 50% off the first week of launching for the digital course. Okay, that's like bananas. 50% off for like all this information that you're going to get is OD. So make sure you take those discount codes. Shemaiah, Mr. SOE, that discount code is 6FIGVET, SIXFIGVET. My discount code for my digital course, Vet to Success, is VET50. I cannot wait to talk to you guys again. Shemaiah, again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And the Six Figure Vet is out.
Thank y'all.